Welcome back to Gatabud. This video will show you all of the things that you can do after completing the 4th dungeon and get completely overpowered before you attempt your 5th dungeon. There are minor location and minor story spoilers in this, so if you are spoiler averse, this may not be the best video for you. And if you have not completed the 4th dungeon yet, you need to do yourself a favor and go explore Goron City and complete a side quest right here where you are rewarded with a firework echo, because it will really kick the door down on what you can do once you get to this point in the game where Goron City undergoes some changes and a lot of things that you could have done had you gone there early become inaccessible for a time. The number one thing that I wanted to accomplish was to get Try's power as high as possible before I start entering dungeons. And we exited the last dungeon at Try level 6. And what I did was I went around and I started the main story quest in each of the 3 regions that it takes you to. And in doing so, there are 2 junior rifts that you can accomplish in those regions as part of the preparation to enter the big dungeons as seen here. So in the Farron Wetlands, this is where one of the junior rifts is, and then this is where it is. So we've got 2 there. In the Elden Volcano, this is one of them, and then this is one of them. So we have 2 there in each of those places. And then in Hebra, we have one that is part of the story, and then this one's just actually kind of optional right here, but you want to do that one as well. In addition, if you go to the 3 regions of dungeons that you have previously completed, there is one here in the Zora area. There is one here in the Soothorn Forest area. And then lastly, there is one here in the Gerudo Desert area. Lastly, there is 2 more rifts we need to talk about. There is a quest that Impa gives you upon completing this 4th dungeon, where she tells you to go here to do some stuff at Hyrule Ranch. If you follow those directions, this is a rift right here. Those 2 mic crystals marked on my map. And then there is additionally a side quest that you can start right here called One Too Many Soldiers. Actually, this is the soldier that starts it. And what that quest does is you have to go through the town and question all the soldiers, and particularly one up there. When you go in here and get questioned, you have to guess which one it is. If you say the one near the well and what part is damaged, the lance, that will complete the quest. And then with the Impa horse quest and this one completed, we can now go see this little girl right here. So she's running off and chasing her dog. She wants us to give this to Zelda's dad, the king. So now, upon giving that thing to Zelda's dad, we see that a rift has opened here, and we should go to it. We do indeed hit level 8. But it's not the 6th triangle. We get reductions on, notably the top left, the sword and shield moblin, and some other pretty good stuff. This is a good upgrade. I would have liked the 6th triangle, but in doing it this way, what we've done is set ourselves up for the ability to now be one level ahead than we would have otherwise once we complete each of these dungeons. So I don't know which one it's going to be, the first, second, or third, but one of these dungeons is going to give us the 6th triangle, and I'm going to have it earlier than everyone else because I did it this way. Oh, and you get that too. So if you want regular Zelda clothes, that's how you get them. As far as I can tell, clothes don't give you any sort of competitive advantage. They're just for aesthetics. So personally, I don't care about clothes for those reasons, but I would guess that a lot of you do. So here's a new outfit. I really overdid it with might crystals on my previous video. I overshot what I needed by about 25. So I was already in really good shape for this part of the game's Blueberry upgrades. But in doing those rifts the way that we did, I believe there are 11 of them, and in doing all of them before entering your 5th dungeon, you get 22 more might crystals. This is what my might crystal map looks like as of right now. I know that there are some that I've missed, but I don't really care right now because I can only upgrade so much at Blueberry's house. So I'm going to go in here and finish my upgrades, and we're going to see that I have exactly enough to be the best that I can be at this point in the game. Now, I'll show my map later in the video once I've completed all of my exploration and gathering of things. This is my finalized map before I enter the 5th dungeon. I got 8 more crystals than I needed. As I mentioned, 22 come from those junior rifts, and then the other ones you just find from exploring the map, and it helps to go back to the areas that you've been to before if you're a little short. Like, for example, I missed these 2 in my initial run through of the Zora area, and I found those doing side quests. A lot of these do also come from side quests as well, so make sure that you've just finished every quest. And we never know what new quests will become available where a seemingly waste of time side quest turned out to be a prerequisite for a future one. So for those reasons, I always finish every quest. I guess the only noteworthy amount, there was 3 from Hyrule Ranch from the various quests and horse races. And then everything else is pretty straightforward. You either find it as part of a quest, it's just sitting there on the map, or you did a rift. And there's way more than enough might crystals to get yourself over that final threshold to have level 3 in your 2 weapons and then level 4 in your energy. Now, next question. I entered the 2nd dungeon with 10 and a quarter hearts. I beat 3 dungeons, so that's where 11, 12, and 13 came from. There are 3 dungeons that I know of that will also get me 14, 15, and 16, really 18, 19, 20. But let's see if I can get to either 16 or 17 hearts before entering this dungeon. After doing a complete and total inventory of the pieces of heart available at this point in the game, only completing the 4th dungeon, we can get 15 and 3/4. I was able to find 5 pieces of heart that are simply not obtainable at this point in the game. There is 1 piece of heart per rift region that becomes accessible with a quest after beating the dungeon. So by beating one dungeon, if you get 15 and 3/4, you can quickly get up to 17 before going into your 6th and 7th dungeon. This is my completed heart map as of right now. A couple ones to point out. This one is a quest from right here where you have to go beat a boss. This one is very missable while you're in Deku Jail and is part of the storyline for Farron Wetlands to obtain. This one requires a mini boss side quest, so you need to go to this location and then go to this location, beat 2 bosses, and then go to Gerudo Town and talk to somebody in there to start a quest and go back and beat a similar boss again here. This one is available after getting Zelda's horse and is a result of doing the intermediate or second horse race less than the target time. The Oasis one is from Mango Rush. You have to collect every single mango on the highest difficulty. All of the other ones are easily obtainable, and I will do a complete every heart piece video at a later date, but this is at a high level how to get 15 and 3/4 hearts before entering your 5th dungeon. I love when I debunk my own findings right before I release the video. I now have a quest marker after finishing all the automaton stuff in Hyrule Castle Town to show this dude a Zol that nobody's seen before. And I happen to have one because of the automaton stuff. So there's an asterisk here, okay? We can get the 16th heart before entering the temple, but it's only if you went to Eldin before Hyrule Castle and completed the firework quest, enabling you to get all of the automatons. So I can say without a shred of a doubt that 16 hearts is the most that you can have going in to your 5th dungeon, and I will have more on the automatons in just a second. I found the 4th fairy bottle from completing this quest right here from a guy on top of a boat in Seaside Village. He's going to have you go liberate his wrecked boat, and you're also going to get a piece of heart out of that quest. When I was approaching the northern mountain area, I stumbled upon Dampe, I believe right about here, and I assumed that it was just a prerequisite to being able to climb the mountain. Turns out it was irrelevant, and I just happened to stumble upon him. But this is his automaton studio. You find him initially out in the wild getting messed with by a crow, and then you can come and make automatons. He needs to draw inspiration to be able to create initially the Tektite. So what you'll have to do is you'll have to go in there and show him 2 things to inspire him to make the automaton. If you go in his house and show him a Tektite and a Mothula, then you will get rewarded with this Tektite. And what you do is you want to lock onto it and press X, and then you hold R, and it helps you jump up higher things quickly that you otherwise wouldn't be able to reach. So you release R, and then hold the stick to move in the direction you want. So that's your initial automaton. Now, the second one you have to go in order is this Toktarok, and it shoots fireballs at things. To generate that, you have to have a Fire Octorok from Eldin, and you have to have a Firework Echo from Eldin. And this Firework Echo is a little problematic, potentially, because it is the reward of a Eldin quest that, as far as I can tell, is not accessible until after you complete the Eldin dungeon, because all the Gorons are sad. But with one caveat. I went to Eldin early because I wanted to push the limits on what I could do before the second dungeon, as y'all saw in my last video. And I actually completed that firework quest before the second dungeon. So if you go early and you lock this thing down, you can make the second automaton, and then that unlocks the door of possibilities to get these next three, and then eventually this golden crow. So this one, you have to show a Zol, and you need to show the prismatic music box, which you acquire at the ranch doing the horse races. The next one you can get is the high-tech Deku Baba, which you will have to show a regular Deku Baba or a bio one, and then you have to show the Steel Trap, which you can obtain from playing the Acorn Gathering right here. The main note I have is use a Crawtula to climb up this wall quickly to get that acorn, and that will save you a lot of time. You have to get this done in 40 seconds or less. Took me a couple tries, not a big deal. The Roboblin is really good. You have to show a Sword Moblin. Level 3 counts, but you can do lesser levels, I believe. And you have to show the Heirloom Katana, which you get from Kakariko Village in the Slumber Dojo if you complete either 6 or 8 of the challenges in the dojo, which you can do at this point in the game. You get awarded with the shiny katana. And then finally, once these 3 are obtained, you can get the Goldfinch, which you need to show a crow. You need to show the golden fan from Mango Rush, which is in the Oasis. And if you were getting the piece of heart from here, you would already have this. I am super pumped to have this moneymaker right here. This is going to be a lot of fun. If you take the Golden Crow to the Soothorn area, then we've got all these really easy enemies, and they drop just as much money as the other ones. So this is how I'm going to get rich for the Great Fairy and all the missing accessories. That was the easiest money I've ever gotten in this game by far. Some of the easiest in any Zelda, for that matter. Yep, that is the maximum. So I can now equip 5 total accessories right now. I'm going to go buy the ones I'm missing. Like previously, I couldn't warrant spending $350 on the flippers, but now I sure can because I'm rich. Kakariko Village has another expensive, frivolous accessory that I can now afford. The climbing band. Help me climb walls faster. Gerudo Town has these sandals that probably would have helped during the quest to beat those two bosses in the sand. Hyrule Castle has this stone anklet in the Castletown store. After scouring all of the towns multiple times and making sure I didn't miss a single side quest, this is what I believe the final lineup of accessories that you can have at this point in the game is. The Zora flippers came from that store, as I just showed earlier, helps you swim faster. The Zora scale comes from the Zora Child's Fate quest, where you have to show 3 fish in the river Zora city to a Zora NPC, and you get this as a reward. The Gerudo sandals came from the store that I just showed. The gold sash came from after getting the piece of heart from beating the 3 desert mini bosses as part of that quest. You can go back and talk to them and say, I won, and then you get this as a reward. The climbing band I showed from the Kakariko store. The spin brace came from the Hidden Ruins right here. You have to beat a level 3 Dark Nut. The frog ring was part of the 4th dungeon and is the #1 accessory in my opinion. The charging horn came from the flag races at the horse stable. I bought this at the Hyrule Castle Town store. The clockwork bangle came from after I finished all automatons. I talked to Dampe again and was able to trade 5 monster guts to him. Right now I have first mastery, which you get from completing 4 training sessions at the Slumber Dojo in Kakariko Village. This came from a side quest in Gerudo Town, but I'll probably never wear it because you can just sleep in a bed. There's a cracked wall in the Zora River Village, and you can get that from behind there, but because of the golden crow, I'm probably never going to use that either. These binoculars came from completing 20 smoothie recipes and showing them to the shop owner in the Farron Wetlands smoothie shop. And lastly, I've had this ancient charm for a while. It came from the Eastern Temple in Hyrule Field, and I had this a long time ago, but you do a side quest just in this area and finish that and you get the ancient charm. The last thing I'm going to talk about is clothing. You don't really get hardly any competitive advantages from clothing, from what I can tell, except for this one dancing outfit that you get from Mango Rush that makes Mango Rush then easier after you've obtained it, but you have to pretty much finish all of Mango Rush just to get it. But, you know, we started with the disguise, and then we get the royal travel attire from beating the 4th dungeon. And then that Rift quest got us the customary attire. And then you can also get blue attire from any Zelda amiibo, not the game title, the actual character Zelda. You get the silk pajamas from the Donna's Challenge side quest in Gerudo Town, just one of the many side quests you can do after the 4th dungeon. I've already covered the dancing outfit, the only thing that gives you a significant boost. So, you know, in theory, you could argue you should be full-timing this because it's the only thing that really does anything of value to you. You get the cat clothes from a Kakariko Village side quest, and then you can get the black cat clothes from using any sort of monster amiibo from the Zelda franchise. You can get the red tunic, which, despite saying wearing it fills you with courage, does absolutely nothing other than red. And you get that from using any Link amiibo. And then I was absolutely appalled that this was the final 25th stamp reward, something that does nothing. I suppose it's better than the reward you get for getting every single Korok seed in Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom, but this is just yet another atrociously bad reward from collecting everything in Zelda. So the amiibos that I use, I actually have a deck of cards that I use instead of having every amiibo. So this is an example of a Zelda amiibo. This is the Breath of the Wild Zelda. This is Rider Link from Breath of the Wild. That counts as a Link amiibo to get that red clothes. And then the Guardian counts to get the black clothes. I'm a Georgia Southern fan and it's football season, so I'm full-timing the Zelda blue outfit from here on out, though. And there you have it. I am very overpowered going into my 5th dungeon. If you found this helpful or insightful, make sure to tell me that by either liking, subscribing, or commenting below. I'm a very busy husband and father and software engineer, and when you do that, that tells me that this is a valuable use of what little free time I do have. So it's very appreciated. Thank you. Until next time, my friends.